Hey guys, what's up? MurderofBirds here. Yes, Akame got killed 2 days late. I apologize. I've just been really far back this week in particular with my anime, especially with my weekend. But anyways, better late than never. I promise to be on time for next week's. At least I hope so. But anyways, this episode is actually a very good episode. Before I get into the actual review, there's three things that I've actually noticed for the past three episodes. Number one, all of the titles of each episode refer to kill. This episode particularly being Kill Your Cares. The other two also had kill in it, so that's one thing that I noticed. Another thing that I noticed is, at least from last episode to this episode, Tatsumi I feel is going to be paired with each character since he is newly introduced to Night Raid. Until they can actually get heavy into the details of how they're going to take out the minister and how they're going to change the capital as a whole, I feel that he has to get to know each one of these characters on an individual basis. Last episode we got Tatsumi and Akame. This episode it was Tatsumi and mine. So next episode I'm expecting him to be paired off with somebody else. But that's the second thing that I noticed is the pairing of Tatsumi with these Night Raid members. And then the third is the animation in the kill targeting. Each episode he's been targeted with killing a particular person. Maybe not necessarily targeted from the first episode. He ended up killing that Aria girl. The second episode he ended up killing Ogre. And then this episode he assisted and helped killing the prime minister's relative, as well as those martial artists. And each episode had that signature still frame, specially animated artwork kill. With like I said, with Tatsumi killing Arya, we got that cool artwork. Tatsumi killing Ogre, we got that cool artwork. And then when Mine shot through that martial artist, we got that cool animation with her weapon. So those are the three things that I noticed. I feel like they're gonna keep up those three particular things with each episode, since it is a constant with every episode. But anyways, this episode in particular, starting off with Night Raid going after the assassins who pretty much infiltrated their area of operations with their base and whatnot. And we got to see the somewhat correlations of characters, how they all deal with fighting and such. Bulao, I think he is the coolest member of this Night Raid. I don't know. I just like him as a character. He's pretty funny. How he comes on to Tatsumi, he's like, "Hey, call me bro," and stuff like that. I love that. I think that's cool. We also got introduced to these really ancient, really secret type of weaponry that they use called Imperial Arms, and each character appears to have one. Bulao showed off his first using his Incursio ability, I guess, to activate his armor, and he had that spear. So I'm guessing the spear and the armor both correlate as an Imperial Arms, and he just destroys those assassins. He's like, and then all you just see is the raining blood. I think that was so awesome. That's why I think Bulao is like my favorite. He's funny, he's badass, and he's also skilled in the art of killing and stuff like that. So it showed him. It showed Sheely. She uses her scissors. She's on some type of Ryuko kill status with her scissor blades. And I noticed she also has some quirks to her as well, where she apologizes after she kills everyone, and the fact that she likes reading books. In the first episode, she went through the diary of the mother who poisoned Tatsumi's friends, pretty much reading through the diary, knowing the information. When Tatsumi met her in episode 2, she also was reading that book on like how to avoid airheads or something like that. She was reading that book, and then in this episode, she was also reading the book at the table while she was talking to the boss. So it obviously assumes that she is a reader. She's an avid reader. She likes to read. She likes to invest her time, and I feel like she's the most reserved out of everybody else because we have some hints of everyone's personalities, but hers in the slightest is she definitely has the least amount of dialogue when it comes to her and Tatsumi. So we got her. It hasn't been confirmed if her scissor blades are actually an Imperial Arms, but I would assume so. Then we got Balak. No, not Balak. I just combined the two. Labak, the guy in the green hair. He came off as a perv a few episodes back, and then in this episode, I'm glad that he's able to not get mixed up with his pervy nature with the task at hand, because he was up against a female, and naturally I would have thought, hey, he's a perv, he's probably going to try to cop her feel, he's probably going to let her go, but he was actually like, no, you're a female, it's a shame that you're a female because I have to kill you, you're too much of a threat, you're too dangerous, and he killed her. He uses like the strings and like that little mechanism that's on his arm, and that's how he deals, that's how he kills his opponents. I don't know if that's an Imperial Arms, it wasn't confirmed for that either, but we got him doing his thing. Akame, she's already a boss. She freaking blitzed 3 dudes in one slice, and the third guy had a curse applied to him because he didn't die right away. So I'm guessing her sword has to be an Imperial Arms because it has that property of applying a poisoned curse to the to the target. And obviously we already know what she can do. The boss, we don't really see much. We didn't really see much. She was at the base, so she didn't instruct anything. And Mine, which is the focus of this episode, she used her rifle because she is a master sniper, and she calls her Imperial Arm Pumpkin, and its ability is pretty cool. When she's under pressure, when she's in danger, when she's in a pinch, I guess you want to say, her weapon gets stronger the more dangerous the situation she's in, which is pretty cool. It didn't really go into details of how that works, but I still think that it's pretty awesome because then we can actually see the relative, the different scale of power when she's in a normal situation, or maybe even down further episodes, she'll be in a situation where she's really in trouble, and then that's when we'll get to see Pumpkin at its full power. But basically, the first part of the episode was pretty much illustrating each character, their strengths, their weaknesses, and not necessarily the weaknesses, but their strengths and how they apply themselves in battle, and how the correlation ultimately amongst all of them. Tatsumi did get a few hits in here and there of them. So that's that. But mainly the episode was Tatsumi paired up with Mine, and we get to see their development as, partners, I guess you want to say, for this episode. Tatsumi is pretty much underlooked by Mine. Mine sees him at the bottom of the totem pole, and pretty much doesn't really acknowledge the fact that he is trying and he is working hard. And throughout the episode, we get a little bit more development as Mine being a tsundere, the fact that she's really hard on Tatsumi. Sorry, I thought I heard that. The fact that he's really hard on Tatsumi and, doesn't really give him a chance. He's punching and kicking him a lot. And then the last episode as well. And I figured that maybe it was because she had a crush on him. Usually girls, if they pick on you and stuff like that, maybe they have a crush on you. So that's one of the things that I thought Mine had when it came to Tatsumi. But as we get further and further into the episode, they start developing, they start warming up to one another, and Mine also discloses her, a little bit of her history, which I think that's also going to be something that applies when Tatsumi is paired up with these characters, because last episode, we got a little bit of a hint of Akame's story, of her sister, and how she ended up joining Night Raid, and this, that, and the other, how she met the boss and all that. And then this episode, we found out that that Mine was actually, she had a really troubled history as well, being a foreigner, and she was really discriminated and picked on because of that, and she had a rough time growing up. I think as the episode goes on, maybe we'll see other characters and their stories and how they grew up and stuff. Maybe Labak got, teased or picked on for being a perv. Maybe Bulaut got teased or picked on or discriminated for being homosexual. I don't know, but I feel like that's going to be something that's going to be focal, and I like that how the anime is able to deal with the lightheartedness of these characters, the likable characters, the scenarios, the situations, at the same time working towards the dark and the gore and the real serious real life issues that a lot of these characters have. Also, I'd like to know more about the boss. She has a missing eye, she has a biotic arm, and she's also the leader of Night Raid. So the fact that she orchestrated all of this together really makes me wonder, what was her life like? How did she orchestrate Night Raid, and how she's kept it going this whole time? From there, we also got introduced to the piece of shit Prime Minister. This dude, when I saw him, he's fat. So I instantly thought glutton. He was already eating. He was eating meat. The Emperor was like, dude, you eat a lot. So this guy is corrupt, okay? He's a glutton. He's mad with power, and it's the fact that he's pretty much ruling behind the scenes of the Emperor. And the Emperor is a kid on top of that, like a child. And it's like where is this kid's parents? Where is this kid's right-hand person? Why is this Prime Minister here? Why is this Prime Minister doing all this stuff? And when you see the Prime Minister, he is essentially the embodiment of why the capital is in this perilous state that it's in. A lot of people are just gloomy. A lot of people hate the lives that they live. This guy is just making passing stupid ass judgment. We saw the public crucifixions, the public executions, and we got to see that guy that ended up being sentenced to death by being quartered by bulls. I don't even know what that means, but just by the fact he's quartered by, I feel like he'll be trampled or impaled or something. But Night Raid needs to act quick also, because obviously the Prime Minister needs to die. The Prime Minister is the overall objective, the overall target, but I feel that the Emperor is being slowly but surely corrupt as well. He's a child, so he might not be too far gone, but it's the fact, and I say that because when that guy was calling out to the Emperor saying that the Prime Minister is evil, he's filling your head with lies, normally, if I thought the emperor was too far gone, the emperor would have responded. But the emperor then looked to the prime minister and was like, "You hear what that guy said about you?" And then he reassured to himself, "No, there's no way that the prime minister would lie to me. He's telling the truth." So that's the only sense that I feel like the emperor could be saved. But if time progresses and the Night Raid isn't able to coordinate their attacks successfully and deal with the prime minister as soon as possible, I feel like the emperor, being a kid, will ultimately have to be killed as well, just because it's just another rotten apple in the bunch. The emperor poisons, the prime minister poisons the emperor will poison, his underlings and everybody else, and it just won't change. So I feel like the prime minister, and until, things develop, until we see more of the emperor also needs to be taken care of as well. We got to see, the second half of the episode, we got to see, Tatsumi and Mine again, going through their missions of taking out one of the the prime minister's relatives. We got to see the full effects of Pumpkin, how it's dealt, and how good of a sniper Mine actually is with killing the prime minister's relative without killing any of the innocent civilians next to him. And the fact that the Night Raid actually just handles the task at hand. Just like in the first episode, Tatsumi was getting in the way of Akame, and Akame was kind of like pre-programmed, was like, "You're not our target. You're not the target. Get out of the way. Move here and there." So it's clear that Night Raid won't sacrifice innocent lives to see their objective through, unless those innocent lives are a threat to them, I guess you want to say. So we got that as well. Like I said, the entirety of the episode was really awesome, really great. Towards the end as well, we got an oncoming adversary. I don't really know much about him. He's a mysterious man. He has like this headgear that's working. I don't know if that's an Imperial arm or not, but he sees the wanted poster of Akame, and he has some type of interest in her. I don't know what kind of interest. Maybe it's in her Imperial arms. Maybe it's in her particularly. But he seems like he's going to be a big threat, because as he walked away, the Imperial guards rushed him, and he just turned around and just blitzed both of them, just knocked their heads clean off their shoulders. And it's clear that he's after Akame for whatever reason. I don't know. So, and from the preview of the next episode, it seems like he's going to be introduced in the next episode, maybe even challenging the Night Raid as a whole. We'll find out his objective or anything like that. But overall, great episode. I really like Mine, her character, how she warmed up to Tatsumi. She's obviously a tsundere at this point, with being really hardened and really strict at the beginning of the episode. Even last episode, and then now this episode, she's a lot more likable. Her and Tatsumi are hitting it off well. They're arguing, but it's more of a friendly argument than anything. We got to see Night Raid as a whole, see what they're capable of, see what they're able to do. We got to see their Imperial arms, all that kind of stuff. The Emperor, the Emperor and the Prime Minister, all that stuff. So like I said, great episode. Let me know what you guys thought about it. Let me know your thoughts, what you guys liked, what you're looking forward to, what you didn't like, etc. Also, be sure to like and subscribe. I apologize again for this late review, and I will see you guys next week for episode 4. Take care.